Well, I'm back here in my car. It's pretty late today, but then the daylight's getting quite long. And what is it? It's 6:43 in the evening, but again that's really only 5:43 in normal winter time. It's midway through November. This Sunday it'll be 2 weeks since I went to my first film for Sean to look at the state of the pygmies, so we don't miss the flowering. So we'll give that a go. And we'll walk through here and see how they go. It's been pretty warm today, so you know, hopefully they haven't totally dried off, but maybe that's the sign. When that soil or that ground there isn't damp anymore, that's the time to harvest. I don't know, we'll have to see. But what am I going to rant about today on the walk down here? How about commercial stuff, hey? You know, I don't know, have you noticed that when you buy some commercial stuff, one, these days in these modern times, they seem to be super impressive for a start. They usually look absolutely magnificent. They look almost too good. Some of the yellows on some of the things like Sarracenia hybrids and things like that almost seem to be like they're fluorescent or glowing in the dark. Whether that's because I don't know, whether they've got some, they put some dye into them or something, I don't know. Are they actually fluorescent so that they look better under the shop lights or something, you know, under these UV fluorescent lamps they have in most of these commercial warehouse barn things that they sell these things in? I don't know. But the other few things you notice that you take them home and they almost, well, they either don't grow or they almost immediately stop growing. They don't put out any impressive pictures or leaves, anything like the ones you see actually on the plants themselves. They almost go into a quiescent state. Now if you keep them in the pots, they don't die necessarily, but they hang on, and if you can keep them going long enough through you know, into a winter period in your country or whatever, the cold period, so that you can get the plants to go into dormancy, if you can keep them alive that long, and then pot them up, they usually do survive. But when they come back, they're usually never as good as they were when you first bought them. They're always like a year behind or something like that, but you've actually managed to keep them alive. If you pot them up any time in between when you buy them and before they go through a cold period and go into a sort of dormancy thing, they invariably die. And if you transfer them into like normal peat and sand sort of stuff, they usually do die, sort of thing. That's another thing I've noticed over the years, which is rather strange. Yeah, some people say they grow them in, they grow them on next to nothing. You know, we fertilise, what's it, so low that you can't do it or something like that. And you're thinking, well, you know, just from a couple of logical point of view, that must be bullshit, because nothing comes of nothing. So you know, you can't grow a basic plant. None of these plants are growing on nothing. These are normal plants, aren't they? You know, no plants grow on nothing, basically. So if you give them nothing, they can't grow really. Basically, yeah. If you put them in pure sand, they're not going to grow, because there's no nutrients around, and unless you get some sort of microorganism that starts fixing nitrogen from the atmosphere, in other words nutrients, something, they're not going to grow, sort of thing. So and the fact that, you know, once you bought them, they don't keep growing the way they look before you buy them, sort of thing. Again, if these plants could live on absolutely next to nothing, you expect on the absolutely next to nothing that's still in the pot, they could still throw up a few more pictures just like the ones you see before you purchase them, but they don't. So from those two logical arguments, you can say it's just bullshit. And the third thing, if you've ever been out to some of these commercial places, look at the plastic on their greenhouses or whatever they're using. They're usually covered with shit, you know, lichenised fenestrations on some of these plastics and glass greenhouses, actually covered in, oh, God knows what they're covered in, lichens and all sorts of other stuff. So what are those organisms on the plastic or on the glass of the greenhouse? What are they living on? Nothing? No. So there must be something in the water that they, and in some of these places you go out, they usually, you know, you've probably, if you've been there a number of times, you've noticed that whenever you get, sometime during the time you're in the greenhouse, the sprinklers come on, and it's not often that you're there longer than half an hour. So I'm thinking, well, you know, if you're not there longer than half an hour and the sprinklers come on, what do they come on every 20 minutes or something? Yeah, come on every 20 minutes with water with next to nothing in it? Yeah, when the plastic or the greenhouse glass speaks otherwise, you know. Oh, I think we're all being kept in the dark and fed on bullshit, I really do, you know. And I think the one key point, it's the liverworts, you know. When in the late 80s, early 90s sort of thing, you know, we used to have some you know, European people, you know, new Australians wanting to join the society, and you give them the usual spiel about, you know, no nutrients, no fertilisation, all that thing, and they don't like calcium and things like that. And some of these people, they give you this like dumb look, and we can never work out what this sort of, they had a certain look in their eyes when you were telling them the spiel, and you know, I thought it was just, you know, the new Australians thing. But it's the look of disbelief, basically, because they're from Europe, of course, so they know that most lichens grow on limestone, like 50%. And when you do the research after you've actually, someone's told you this, like my friend Igor in Russia, he told me, you do know that, you know, liverworts basically grow on limestone, and when you look it up, basically half the species in the northern hemisphere, they're obligate to limestone. They can't grow on anything but limestone, and the other half, although they don't have to grow on limestone, they would prefer to grow on limestone. They're facultative. They would like to grow on limestone, but they can grow without limestone, but they grow a lot better when they have limestone. So you have all these new Australian, European Australians looking you, you know, starkly in the face with this gormless look on. It's actually a look of disbelief, like, you telling me bullshit. And I think, to tell you the truth, I think we were telling them bullshit. All this no nutrients, they don't like calcium business, it was just bullshit that we've been told, and we were just promulgating along, passing along to, you know, to the next couple of generations, sort of thing, to the older past generations from faraway countries to the new generation. And now all these commercial places are actually admitting to the fact they are fertilising, but they're not saying how much or what are they're putting on them. So, you know, now some of the places, yes, we do fertilise. When you ask them, well, how long have you been fertilising? I reckon you get a Vulcan-raised eyebrow once you start asking them, how long have you been doing this fertilisation, you know? Oh, we've been doing it for the last 30 years. Oh, you know, no, I never said that. I just let you talk your way out of, yeah, I know. Anyway, let's just say it's starting. They're still alive, they're still putting up flowers, and it's getting pretty close, because I don't know, do I just wait till they die and just take, you know, do the same thing with the glandulars? Well, because they don't grow from gemmy, so there's no harm doing it that way. Do I just take them out and hope there'll be some viable seeds coming out of these seed pods? I don't know, but you know, I would like some help from as I said, this is a colony I only came across last year. Apparently doesn't do the normal gemmy routine that you get with other plants in other areas. I reckon it's going to be in the next week or so, within the next week, another 2 or 3 trips out here. They're going to be brown or black. There's some out here, they're almost hanging on there, like that one there. I reckon that's gone. Do I take that home as a test sample to see if we get any seed out of these? Look at that one there. Do I take that home and see if I get any seed out of that? And if I do, I just come back the next few days. Any up here? Don't we have a bit of a, this bit up here? Look at those, they're almost gone, I reckon. So, you know, I reckon they won't be alive by next weekend. That's why, unless we have a rain or something that keeps them alive or something like that, you know, an out of season or unseasonal rain. But see, some of these are still flowering. See the white flower there? and there, so if I wait a bit longer I might get more seed. I don't know. As I said, this is I'm unfamiliar with this type of pygmy growth where they don't actually go through a full summer cycle, hang on and produce Gemini sort of thing. This is new to me. As I said, I only came across this site last year, and I better shut up a gas bagging because it's been quite a rant, but I think it's been burning up inside of me and other people around the world in the CP world for... I think we've been kept in the dark, fellas, and fed on bullshit for, well, it might have been as far back as the 50s, but I would say definitely from the early to middle 80s, I would say. I noticed things creeping in. So was that knowledge gained in the 70s somehow and then put into commercial practice in the mid 80s on a large scale? I don't know, but what are your thoughts from your part of the world? Do you think we've been kept in the dark and fed on bullshit for CP wise, you know, about the nutrient argument, you know, being nutrient poor plants and the calcium angle? I mean, well, we have a particular genus like Pinquicula. Some members are actually, you know, like the Mexicans, they grow on calcium, don't they? So, and then you've got other members in the same genus that's supposed not to like calcium. But is that true? I don't know. I mean, again, it tends to raise the old Vulcan eyebrow in way of logic anyway. So anyway, I think over and out for this clip. It's a bit of a laugh clip, I think, but you know, there is some serious thinking in there somewhere, deep in there, if you want to wrestle with it. Okay, over and out for now.